Hey guys, I am Daisho, and I know it's been a few days, but I am now finally bringing you another draft. I hope you guys enjoyed the last draft. I ended up going 2-1, which is pretty good. I always am happy if I can go 2-1. But anyway, here is my next draft, and this draft starts off pretty interestingly, I think. I have a pack that has 3 really good white cards and sort of green-white cards. It's got Tristani's Judgment, Call of the Conclave, and Collective Blessing, and those 3 cards are very good. I think that they're all on different levels. I think it kind of goes Collective Blessing, then Call of the Conclave, then Tristani's Judgment. And the reason I say that is because Call of the Conclave is so good to just be able to get a 3/3 out turn 2 that you can start populating, and it just becomes incredible. And if you can do that, then you're fine. But Collective Blessing is just an absolute bomb. If you can resolve that card with and have a couple of creatures out, then you're just going to win most games. And in this pack, I see a couple of cards that catch my eye. I see an Izzet Charm, I see a Rakdos Cackler, and at first I don't even see it in the pack, but there's a Centaur's Herald here. Like, that's why it always makes sense to just comb through the pack a couple of times, make sure you know all the cards that are in the pack. Obviously, it's good to pay attention to what you think can table, so you count the number of cards that are really bad in the pack, and then see which one you might be able to get back. But anyway, if I want to be in green-white, the cards that I really want to pick are Centaur's Heralds and obviously Call the Conclaves if I can get them. But here, I see 2 cards that are really far and above not the best cards, because there's also an Annihilating Fire, which I think is probably the second best card in the pack. But the 2 that I would only consider taking are Stab Wound and Phantom General. And Stab Wound is just such a good card. I completely misjudged it. If you watched my set review, I was arguing vehemently against it. I thought it was just going to be another removal spell, but it's really just a lot better than that. There's so many different things that just can't deal with being stab wounded, and like with all the unleashed creatures and all the walls that are going around, they can't just keep attacking you or anything. It's brutal, and it's really good. But Phantom General is just a really good card in the green-white matchup, or in the green-white deck. So I really need to make a decision here. The fact that I'm seeing this Stab Wound third pick is not necessarily a sign. It could be that the first person wasn't, or took a rare that was a lot better, and then the second person had an amazing card and wanted to stay in color, and they just shipped that along too. But I end up going with the Stab Wound just to stay open. And the Phantom General isn't the greatest loss, so I think I'll be okay either way. And here I just make a terrible pick. I take the Drudge Beetle, and I think it's not even close to the card I should have taken. I should have taken Golgari Charm, Sewer Shambler, or Savage Surge over it. And like, I don't know that I'm in green-black yet. The reason I took it is because I wanted to stay in green. But even so, I still should have taken Savage Surge. I just don't think Drudge Beetle is very good, and I really don't know why I took it. It was just a bad choice. But here I'm debating between Perilous Shadow and Golgari Longlegs. I think Perilous Shadow is a little bit better, but Golgari Longlegs is in green or black, so if I don't end up playing the black, if I end up going back to green-white, then I can pick it there. So there's that. And here there's a Catacomb Slug and a Stonefair Crocodile and a Volatile Rig. I think that's pretty much it for me. Like, there's an Inaction Injunction, is a Guildgate, but nothing else that I really want to take. And I mean, I wanted to try out the Volatile Rig. That's really the only reason I took it here. I don't know if it's a good card. I still don't, even after playing with it and playing against it. I think it's not very good because there's a small, like, it's only a 50% chance that it rasts the board. But I mean, it does put them in a position where sometimes they're just gonna be like, yeah, I guess I'll take 4, and I'll take 4 because I don't feel like blocking and losing all the position that they made. But if it wasn't so volatile, I guess, if it was assuredly going to do one of 2 things, then I would be a lot happier with that card. But anyway, this pack is pretty clearly going to be an Axebane Guardian. It leaves me open to splashing if I want to play that Collective Blessing, which is pretty cute. And I just don't like Karazda Monitor that much. I think 7 mana is, like, okay, so I guess I'm going to explain my thoughts on the Scavenge. I think that the cheap Scavenge is really good, so Sewer Shambler and Sluiceway Scorpion are very good. Dreg Mangler is still pretty cheap, considering he gives you 3 counters for 5. But Drudge Beetle, 2 counters for 6, I just don't think it's good. So the green ones, I really don't like as much. Alright, so here I'm taking Towering Idric. It's just really good. I love that card. Completely stops almost every flyer in the set in its tracks, and it still can beat down if you need it to. And it just blocks most other things that aren't even flyers. It deals well with centaurs, so it's just a good card. And then here there's 2, I believe they're both uncommons that I don't really like too much, Goblin Use and Dark Revenant. Dark Revenant is good in that you'll have a consistent threat for the rest of the game, but it's not very good. Like, it's a 2/2 flyer for 4, so it doesn't really excite me too much. And then the Goblin is just overcosted for what it does, but it can really just win you games. I mean, if you get a few counters on it, then it just becomes a 6/6, and that's really hard to deal with, even though you paid a lot of mana and had a large investment. But then I can take a Trestle Troll and a Towering Indrik, and if you look at my deck so far, it's pretty defensive. I've got a Stab Wound, I've got multiple Towering Indriks, I've got a Trestle Troll, and I think that's what they're almost a really late Sewer Shambler, so I got lucky. That was the pack that I took the Dredge Beetle out of, I believe. Or maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I think I'm wrong. I don't know. But either way, I just got a lot of really defensive cards, and I think that's what these decks want to look like. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm taking a look at this pack, and there's really not much in it for me. There's basically an Ogre Jailbreaker with no gates, a Rites of Reaping, or a Supreme Verdict. And I'm not going to play the Supreme Verdict. There's no way I'm going to. But, sorry, I just have like a little cold or something like that. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, Supreme Verdict is just so hard to play around, and basically every time you see blue and white, you have to start playing around it. So I just didn't want to deal with it. Plus it's like $5, so that's really the main reason I took it, and it's just the most annoying card to play around. But that's generally not a good reason to take cards. If I was actually, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't take this card if I was playing in like a GP. I would try to get the Rites of Reaping, but as you guys will see later, the Rites of Reaping ends up tabling anyway, so I didn't even get a loss, and I still got the $5 card, so that's cute. Right here, I just comb through the pack, and then when I get to the end, I get really excited because there is a Gerard in this pack, and now I just really know the direction that my deck is going in. I was pretty sure before, but I just want to slow the game down, get to my Gerard, and then just start winning the game with that, because that guy is so powerful that he can win the game on his own. I'm very happy to get a Sluiceway Scorpion, even though it's another 4-drop, which I already have a ton of in those 2 Towering Indriks, that the Gerard, now Sluiceway Scorpion, and I think I have a couple more. Maybe not yet. Maybe I'll get those later. I don't remember. But anyway, there's another Sluiceway Scorpion and a Towering Indrik in this pack. But there's also a Launch Party. I'm not really aggressive enough to be taking something like a Grimrout's Route that's much more of a Rakdos card than a Golgari card, because I think that even though they both share the black, they use different types of black, and it's just really like the opposite sides of it. But anyway, I don't know if you guys do this, and if it's even allowed, depending on like what kind of rules you guys have. But me and my friends are pretty casual, so I just organize my cards and look through them and stuff. I know that in like a GP you can't look through your old cards, or I don't think you can. Maybe you can. I don't know. I've never been to one, so I thought about going to GP Philadelphia this past weekend, but decided not to. I was pretty busy anyway, and yeah. Anyway, here I get a 5th pick Corpse Jack Menace, and that's just extremely exciting for me. I mean, that's really just awesome. There's no way I was expecting this to happen, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I've got another rare in this deck that's actually really sweet with my type of deck. And here, going back, I probably would not have taken the thing I took. I took the Golgari Keyrune, which is okay. I mean, it generally is a really good defensive card, but I think I probably would have taken the Rubbleback Rhino. I mean, I guess, yeah, right now I have 2 Sluiceway Scorpions and a Sewer Shambler, and I'm looking to pick up some more Scavenge, and I also have a Dredge Beetle. And the Rhino with Scavenge is just really an unstoppable force. It wins so many games that it definitely is going to wall them off of anything. But here there's a Gate Creeper Vine and a Giant Growth. I don't really want to splash for the Collective Blessing because I'm just not a big fan of splashing. I guess I probably should have taken the Gate Creeper Vine and just done it, but I don't know. Now we're getting into the point where I already have like the makings of a pretty good deck, and I know that since barely anyone else in the table is in Golgari, if anyone else, I mean a 5th pick Corpse Jack Menace is pretty good sign. So I know that I'm going to be able to build a pretty good deck. So you get to the point where if you see something that's going too late, you can just grab it because you're going to be able to build a fine deck anyway. And it's not really that good to have just 15 extra playables that you can't run that are of comparable value. Like, maybe your deck will suffer a tiny bit, but if everybody else's deck at the table suffers, then that's good. So here there's a couple of choices: Daggerdome Imp, or Stonefair Crocodile, and I was thinking about it for a while because I am in green-black, so Stonefair Crocodile does get that lifelink bonus. But anyway, I end up taking the Daggerdome Imp because it has a lot more upside, especially if I get some more cheap Scavenge, and it could be really just a game-winning card, and that's kind of what I need. So then I get instantly rewarded because I get another Stonefair Crocodile in the next pack, so that's pretty sweet. And I was really super excitedly happy about that. But anyway, the draft is going pretty well for me, other than the fact that I'm in Golgari. I'm really not a fan of Golgari, and I think the mechanic is pretty strong, but I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not the best mechanic, and sorry if that was really loud. I just moved a quarter that was next to my microphone. Anyway, there's a Crosstown Courier in this pack. I guess I'll take it out. I kind of like Crosstown Courier in the as a deck, but whatever. Tenement Crasher is obviously better than Bellows Lizard, and then I'm just going to get a last pick Trained Caracal. So yeah, that's always fun. I love how, so when I'm editing these videos, I just do different things. I mean, like I import all the photos and stuff, and I have all these terrible cards like Urban Burgeoning and Trained Caracal because they're always my last picks. And this was really not a very exciting pack to open. I mean, there's a Dead Reveler and a Trestle Troll, and Dead Reveler is really not that good in my deck. The more that this set has been coming out and I've been playing with it, the less I like Dead Reveler and Splatter Thug, because there's so many 4 toughness walls that they just can't get through, and if they can't block, then they just don't do anything. So that's really annoying. But anyway, I see a couple of cards in this pack, but there's a Stab Wound, so there's no way that I'm passing that. And now I have 2 Stab Wounds and a Gerard, so you guys might be able to see that that is going to be a common theme throughout this draft. I'd pick up a Grizzly Salvage here, which is pretty sweet. It's really good in the Scavenge deck, especially if you've got Sewer Shamblers, which I think I have 1 right now, and Sluiceway Scorpions, which I have 2 of. So those, I mean, it's just those early Scavenges, I think, are like the most important part of this deck. And right here I pick up a Sewer Shambler. I could have taken the Skymark Rock and maybe made one of my opponent's decks a little bit worse. But yeah, I'm really not sure. Like, I'm not like a draft guru or anything, so I don't really know if that's correct to take the Skymark Rock over like a 27th playable or something like that, because I definitely had way more cards than I needed at this point. But yeah, anyway, here's a pick that I would definitely do over. There's a Grizzly Salvage and a Rogue's Passage, and Grizzly Salvage is pretty good in the deck, and I mean I do really like it in the deck. But I think Rogue's Passage just has way more upside, especially in that my deck is gonna have trouble winning. And it's like, Rogue's Passage is so good with Stab Wound too, because Stab Wound makes it so that you can't really attack because they'll just block and kill off their own guys. So that is always annoying. But yeah, here there's a couple of good cards, I think. There's a Tavern Swindler, a Sluiceway Scorpion, and Golgari Guildgate. I don't know why I didn't think of it at all, but I guess since I had just picked up those 2 Grizzly Salvages, I wanted more cheap Scavenge. So anyway, I ended up with 3 Sluiceway Scorpions and 2 Sewer Shamblers, so I definitely had enough of that. So here I'm deciding between Giant Growth, which is the second one, or a Civic Saber, and neither of those matter too much, and I'm probably not going to run either of them. I could run a second Giant Growth, but I already have some removal, and I don't really need it. And Civic Saber doesn't do too much for my deck. I mean, I do have some gold cards, but I don't really need to be attacking to win these games, which is kind of funny. But here I pick up another Trestle Troll, so that makes 2 Trestle Trolls, 2 Towering Indrix, and 3 Sluiceway Scorpions as really defensive creatures. And here's a Treasured Find, a Golgari Guildgate, and a Terrace Worm. And I think I just end up taking the Golgari Guildgate because I know that I'm not going to be running either of the other 2, and this will actually make my main deck, and it'll be useful. I mean, Guildgates are fine, you don't need them, but here, somewhere along the line, somebody made a mistake. So there's 2 Dispels in this pack, and it was also, the previous pack had 4 cards, and this one also had 4 cards, so that's a little bit mistaken, but whatever. Yeah, just take a Chemister's Trick, and there you go. My 2 last picks from the round before were Trained Caracal and Survey the Wreckage, so I get those 2, and then I'll just be like, Search Warrant or Dispel? Wait, what am I doing? I'll just take a Dispel, because that's actually playable. It doesn't really do anything against me. And then the last pick, Bellows Lizard. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a nice day. Bye.